Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request, this time from Steven. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. And this is for a 2023 film called The Passenger, which is directed by a guy named Carter Smith, who did a few films like The Ruins, which I was not a fan of. That's the one with the killer flowers. I think Ben Stiller produced it. I still can't get over that the flowers make a sound similar to cell phones. So, they're so smart they mimic the cell phones. I'm like, what? I know people like that film. I was not a fan of it. But this one, you have this kid named Randy who's working at this fast food place. And his boss is like, well, why are you working so hard, at this fucking job? Like, what is it about this? And he's like, I don't know, just what it is. And it's like, you might be a manager someplace. What are you thinking of doing? So one thing leads to another. He gets bullied by some of his coworkers. And another guy, played by Kyle Gallner, which I recognize the guy. He was Quentin in that awful Nightmare on Elm Street remake, but I thought he was the best actor in that movie. He's been in a few other stuff. He sees this, asks them to stop. They make this kid eat this moldy burger. They threaten him. He does it. Kyle Gallner doesn't like this. Goes out, comes back, and shoots 3 people. He comes back with a gun, shoots the 2 bullies, shoots the manager. Thinking of shooting our lead character Randy, doesn't. Says, you don't help me clean this up. And then throughout the film is kind of this journey where Kyle Gallner's taking Randy, trying to get to know him, and then saying, I'm going to do this for your own good. Because the character Randy, you tell he's very much in a shell. He's like a turtle with his head popped into a shell. He doesn't want any trouble. He doesn't say a few words. Doesn't stick up for himself. Is very closed off emotionally to the world. We later find out why that is. And Kyle Gallner, he's, as he puts it, I've been watching you. You're better than this shit. I'm going to do this for you. What I really want to do is help you. And it's definitely propelled by Kyle Gallner's performance. He does a great job where he is, at points, cool, calm, collected, and he goes a bit out of control later on when certain things are brought up, because the thrust of the story is trauma and what trauma can do to people, how you handle trauma. Some people handle it better than others. Can you overcome trauma and be better, or will you let it consume you? So I did not mind the point it was making. I thought the acting by the lead and Kyle Gallner was fairly good. I think Kyle stole the show. I'm like, this guy's talented and he should be in more stuff. Because actually, I want to look up what else he's done, now that I think about it, Kyle Gallner. But I did like him. I did like his performance. And so throughout their little journey, they're going to different places. They go to this diner where Gallner insults his waitress, going, what are you doing with your life? You're stuck here, and you haven't tried to get into a better service in life. What are you doing here? What have you done with your life is pretty much the question he asked the waitress. They stop at Gallner's mom's house. He gets a sense that things are not quite right there because the mom is very quiet, as if she doesn't care about anything. She's really out of it. Just a very melancholy way of life about her, which fits with the store Because a lot of the score is this melancholy feeling to it, which I did not mind that. Now, Carl Gallner, he was also in Red, which I forgot about. Red State, Kevin Smith film. Lately he was in, I guess he's going to be in the sequel to Smile. I guess he was in the first Smile. I forgot about that. Scream. I forgot he was in the... God, I forgot he was in the 5th Scream movie. Well, to be honest, he's been in a lot of bad films. I would say this is the best film I've seen him in where he had a major part in it. So, at least that I've seen. Just like I said, it's more about the back and forth between these two, and you slowly but surely you see Randy coming out of his shell and gaining more of his own 2 feet to stand on, while Gallner's losing a bit more and more as the story goes. And Gallner's trying to pick at our lead character Randy's brain to see what makes him tick, to learn more about his life. So he learns that Randy had a girlfriend, but then they broke up, but he doesn't even know how and why they broke up. And he's like, you know what, that's going to change today. So they go to the mall, and the ex-girlfriend works at this Build-A-Bear type of shop. You get an item, you can decorate and stuff. And she tells about how, this one point her cat had died. And she cared about that, but it was more the fact that you didn't react to it. I didn't know if you cared, I didn't know if you were sad, mad, like you were just closed off. Until ultimately, Randy never telling anybody, including his ex-girlfriend, about this, but tells Gallner's character about this incident that happened during the 2nd grade. Again, the spoilers starting now. Where he was in 2nd grade, he was, I don't know, about 7 years old or so. They're playing these things with footballs, he's using the eraser. He's doing it. And it went and it hit a teacher in the eye, and there was something attached to it, so it stuck in the person's eye, and the person lost their eye. And since then, he's been haunted by that. And as he puts it, nothing good comes with me making my own decisions. I don't want to get in the way of other people being happy. And that's why he's all closed up. That's why he doesn't fight for himself. That's why he lets life pass him by, because of this incident, because of his guilt. And Gallner's character is interesting, because at times he laughs about this stuff. Like before he knows about this, he's like, you broke up your girlfriend? You broke up with your girlfriend because her cat died? Unbelievable. Really? That's what happened? Or, listen, you don't meet her and you can either make up with her, you can punch her in the face. Whatever happens, we're going to see your girl Lisa. Lisa, like The Simpsons. Yeah. And then we don't get much depth into Gallner's character except stuff that you maybe fill in the void with. Where, hey, we're going to find out where that teacher is. I told you this is about you. We're going to help you. We're going to help you with your issues, your problems. They get the teacher's address. Which I know the receptionist says we don't give that information, but the fact she gives it up, I'm like, okay, well, she's definitely terrible at her job. She definitely should be fired. But then another teacher passes by, and Gallner goes, wait, were you a teacher at this other school? Oh, okay. And he has this look on his face, and he follows the guy and beats the ever-loving hell out of him. Until Randy says, wait, stop. Hey, you said this was about me, right? And this isn't had nothing about, right? Yeah, you're right, this is about you. Now that guy, again, spoilers, he dies going to the hospital. But it has something to do with Gallner when he was in 3rd grade. They do not go any deeper than that. but the way he behaved, the way he looked, the way he beat the guy up, the way later on he's like puked his guts out in the bathroom, you can make a guess I had to deal with perhaps molestation, trauma. They don't ever say that, but that's the best guess I could come up with. And so you have two people with two different types of trauma, and both dealing in their different ways. One's closed off, one's more violent. And then ultimately they do see this teacher, which I gotta say, she looked really young. Because if she was a teacher when this kid was 7 years old and he's, I don't know, 20? But this girl, like, still looked fairly young, or looked really good for her age, whichever the case may be. And she has an eye patch, but she recognizes who Randy is, and Randy's thinking she's going to be mad, angry, hurtful. Quite the opposite. As she puts it, it's hard to get mad as a 7-year-old. And yeah, it was tough at first, but it was able to deal with the guy, but things didn't work out, but it gave me this daughter, and she's not home right now, but, you know, things still worked out okay. I'm living my life. I got this place. I got a daughter I love. And you tell Randy's just shocked that her life wasn't completely ruined, and she forgives him and all that, and that she doesn't hate him. And then I said, it's three people dealing with trauma in very different ways. The healthy way, the could be destructive way like Randy does, healthy way the teacher does, and the destructive way Kyle Gallner's character does. Was it Benson, I think was his name? Don't quote me on that. But so I did what the door was going with, and I kind of appreciate it. I kind of like that type of story and direction. Everyone gets hurt. Not everyone is ready for it. Which is true. And for each person, it's going to depend on a variety of things and variables of how you deal with trauma in itself. But it didn't feel too overbearing and too beating you over the head with it either. So one thing leads to another. Gallner takes her hostage. Randy doesn't like this. They go to a diner, the same diner where that waitress he made fun of. She calls him out on it. He shoots her in the leg. In the meantime, our lead character, I said this is spoilers, I want to keep harping on that. Called the cops, comes out, confronts him, takes a bullet for the teacher, and then Gallner looks at him like, why'd you do that? But then you tell that on one hand, he's upset that the kid betrayed him. But I would like to think there's a part of him that goes, well, I did say I wanted to help him. And look at him now. He stood up for himself. Not only that, he stood up for the stranger. Here's someone overcoming their trauma, which I couldn't do. Which is, I think is why eventually he sees the cops, he goes outside, death by cop. And then afterward, you see that the kid, Randy's getting better. He's hanging out with the teacher's daughter, which some may say is unrealistic, and some may say it puts things too much in a tidy bow. It makes it too much of a happy ending. I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me. Those are the type of endings I'm gung-ho for anyway, in my taste in movies. Like I said, there's going to be people that are going to call BS on it and say, that's bullshit, but I thought it was a sweet way to end it, to show that he did learn something from this. And people can change, people can get better. And then ultimately, things work out at the end. I will say the ending song does not fit at all. Just kind of a more subtle, quiet ending. then you get the credits and someone's like, oh, fuck you, I'm like, that doesn't fit, man. That does not fit the ending at all. I have no idea what the hell the director was thinking with that. Just it made it seem like it'd be an ending for this brutal action. It's not the case. And maybe some people, like after the beginning, which is a bit brutal, they think there was going to be a lot more of that. But yeah, I appreciate the story it was telling. I like the acting of the two leads. I think Kyle Gallner is a great showcase of what he could do as an actor. I appreciate that. The musical score I thought was subtle enough, but it fit with the quiet, little emotional moments between the characters. I appreciate the story it was telling, and was able to figure it through. Whether it was the movie's intention or not, it made me think about a couple things and kind of my own conclusion as what the meaning of the movie is, and I appreciate that. So overall, I did like the movie. That was a nice little surprise of a flick. Don't have a whole lot of issues with it. Like I said, you don't know 100% why Kyle Gallner's doing it, but again, I guess I'm making a guess as to what was going on and why he was acting that way. But hey. With that said, I liked it. I did like it. Thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later.